Welcome to A Healer's Muse. This is your host, Reiki Reverend, Holistic Health PhD, Reiki Master Teacher, Healing Minister, and much more. For more information, check out ReikiReverend.com for all your healing needs. Love and light, this is Reiki Reverend, and I'm here to talk to you tonight about choosing your own healing modality. Now, I've done this before, and thought, why not? I'll go ahead and do it again. If you haven't been party to any of my Facebook Lives, this would pretty much be the explanation for it. You don't know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's perfect. That's perfect. Basically, what I'm going to be doing here is just going through my Grand Source Faith Healer Manual and breaking it down for you, just giving you a little bit of an idea of how these healing modalities all work and what my experience has been choosing a healing modality, as well as, from the manual. Of course, if you want to read along with me at any given point in time, feel free to check out ReikiReverend.com. Send me a shout out in the comments or something of that nature, and I'll go ahead and I will send you your very own link to this download. Now, with great power comes great responsibility. The responsibility lies solely in the fact that we have complete and utter control of our worlds, our realities, and even what form of healing we may choose to use. In a world of such possibilities, one must not only be aware of themselves, but aware of others as well. This goes back to the old principles of self-awareness, of introversion, not the bad introversion, but just the introversion where you're just taking a look on the inside and you're trying to work all that out within yourself. Now, me personally, I'm in my late 20s, so, my version of working it out with myself is just sitting here and meditating and just being one with the universe. For you, it may be different. For you, it may be sitting down, reading a book. Basically, your happy place is essentially what it takes for you to really be aware of yourself and aware of others at the same time. That meditative space, that conscious meditation with the collective is what I'm referring to. Now, I say this to highlight the fact that everyone in this world is completely different from one another. Our main commonality is that we have the capacity for healing and growth. And that's important. That's very important. As one embraces the healer's path, there is a major crossroads that needs to be traversed in order to receive an attunement. Now, I'm not talking about the whole rigmarole of a course or a workshop where you sit down for X amount of time and you get through the lectures, or you get through the material, or you get through the group session. No, what I'm talking about here is a personal crossroads. One that kind of traverses the fields of personal awareness and group awareness. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. Speaking personally for a time, I actually had the very great opportunity of sitting in on quite a few group sessions where we sat down, we discussed Reiki, we learned a little bit, and then we received our attunements, learned how to work with other people, and then continued forward. That all being said, that's not how every single course is going to work. I know personally my courses are more or less you get the material, I coach you, you learn, you study, you grow, I coach you some more, and then, from there it's up to you. From there it's simply up to you. Now, what I mean by all of that is that you're going to have to go through some type of legwork somewhere along the line to figure some of this out, right? Well, my best suggestion is that you figure it out in a way that works best for you. Group sessions are great, but like I said, you're listening to someone talk for X amount of time and it may not work out for you. Some people just like that tactile sensation of going through the material themselves. No pressure, no real strain on the eyes, no real strain on the ears. To watch somebody go through everything and listen to everything. More just work at your own pace. But anyway, enough about what my courses look like. Back to this. Now, as you're taking these courses, as you're learning, as you're growing, as you're adapting, when it comes to modalities such as Reiki, it's like you're on the brink of self-discovery right there, and you don't even realize it. But the same can be said in air, where you're on the brink of self-discovery when it comes to the average everyday life. When you're walking through the streets, when you're absorbing the situation that's going on around you, when you're learning from all of the various aspects and elements that run around within you, whether it be sickness, whether it be perfect health, whether it be love, whether it be something else, who knows? These are all elements and aspects of self, and I'm getting to all this because they're all very important with the topic matter. What modality should you choose? It's a very personal choice, and that's what I'm getting at. It's a very personal choice. Based on your observations of your average everyday life, what do you like to do? Where do you go in your mind to meditate? Where do you go in your mind to be active? And when it comes to working with other people, what do you do when someone asks for help? With something that's hurting them mentally, physically, emotionally? What happens when it's spiritual? What are your automatic responses? Do you go pull out a textbook that you read X amount of years ago? Do you go to sit down and meditate with them? Do you pray for them? Do you pull out your sage stick and just start chanting whatever comes to mind? These are all things that are indicative of various healing modalities that could work within your spectrum. I know personally, shamanic healing has a lot to do with working with spirit to solve everyday problems. Working with spirit to solve everyday problems. And that's really deep work. Not everyone's suited for that. Not everyone's going to go to spirit and say, hey, what should I do with this guy? What should I do with this woman? What should I do in this situation? Or how do I best help this person heal? Or can you work on my behalf and help this person heal? That's also angelic. Prayer to God, faith healing, spiritual healing. That's where all those come in. If you're simply one to sit and meditate, then you're probably more apt to Reiki. And if you are sitting there and just kind of scratching your head, well, stay tuned. This gets better. How much of an impact is it going to have on your practice to choose one of these? Now, what I mean by practice is your own personal practice, how you choose to work with yourself, your practice with others, how they interact with you, how you interact with them, and your general practice when it comes to universal energies, universal flows. Do you find yourself constantly at odds with spirit, or are you more or less mellow with spirit and just let things kind of go? These are all things to look at. Now, the answers to all these questions may be simple, but the results could surprise you even so. Any modality that feels right, like I said, and fully resonates as a part of your personal truth should be a modality that you choose to pursue. To focus on one modality at a time, choosing to understand its inner workings, this is most ideal. Now, this coming from the guy who sat there and studied for X amount of years to figure out Reiki and then went from modality to modality to modality. I kind of have a basis for both sides of the field here. Sometimes spirit just guides you and you have no control over that, or you seem to have no control over that, so you just kind of let it happen. In the other way, you're definitely strong-armed into learning all there is to know about this one modality. But here's the thing. You achieve Reiki Master, right? Well, guess what? There's more to it. You achieve mastery in one element, and you find there are 50,000 other elements for you to explore. I know personally I've seen over 20 modalities in Reiki, over 20 levels of Reiki for you to possibly obtain. And this is just, going to Google, searching Reiki, this is reading materials, this is experiencing other practitioners. I mean, it happens so often in our lives that we think that mastery is the end result. Mastery is not the end result, I guarantee you that. In any case, it's quite possible to achieve and receive many modalities, many attunements, and or gifts during your current journey or in your past life. To force on yourself in any way, any of these modalities may hinder your work more than allow for it to blossom in its full beauty and splendor. You may be surprised with how quick everything just flips for you when you go and try to learn these modalities. I know personally Reiki 1 was pretty cut and dry. It was pretty simple. But Reiki 2, man. Reiki 3, man. I'm telling you right now, you can consider these things to be so far above you or so far under you, but until you've received the attunements or you have attuned yourself, depending on your belief system, these things can and will change your life in the blink of an eye. And I say that with total confidence. I had ex-girlfriends call me up. I've had old friends call me up. I've ran into people from my military service and in places that I didn't think I would ever see any of these people just because of Reiki. When it came to my Kundalini Reiki attunement that was recent, I actually took a long amount of steps back. And I say that for a reason. Because it wasn't just a few steps back, it wasn't just a large amount of steps back, it was a few long steps back. And I really assessed myself. Am I on this path for the right reasons? Am I doing the right things? Is charging so small of an amount for these attunements, for these workings, going to hurt my progress or help my progress as a person? And I had to do some really deep soul searching and make some adjustments in my life to where I felt balanced. And now that I've found a stronger sense of balance, I'm on trying to figure out how to make that balance work in every aspect of my life. And it's a job. It's a full-time job, like being a dad. Full-time job. In the end, it's a personal choice, one that comes with a big responsibility to yourself. I encourage you to do a good bit of research with any of the popular forms of healing currently available, such as Reiki. Acquire a manual or speak with a teacher prior to taking a course. There is nothing wrong with getting the course, especially in my work, getting a manual from me or getting an excerpt from a manual from me, and reading over the material, doing some soul searching, and figuring it out for yourself. I don't see enough people doing this, asking questions from their teachers before they actually dive head deep into a modality. This is important. Your whole future is now in the hands of some teacher who, for all you know, could be sitting behind a whole pile of gold and be ready to eat your face the second you walk up to him. I don't know. You don't know. Who knows? But I jest. At the end of the day, it's up to you. And if you're ready and willing to take on the journey to become a healer, no matter the cost, I give you full courage and my well wishes in that respect, because it is a journey. And make no mistake, you're not going to learn overnight. You may learn the modality overnight, but you're not going to learn overnight. That much is definitely true. Not so much for the intellectual pursuit. Like I said, this learning a modality is something that you should be practicing or working towards for deeper insight and wisdom. So, yeah, you're talking to your teacher to try to gain that insight, try to gain a little hint of that wisdom. Being prepared to ask solid questions during your time in instruction or meditation. These are important things, not only of the teacher, but of yourself. Ask yourself questions. In doing this, you'll not only impress your teachers and your guides, but you'll also have a stronger foundation to base your practice on. As all energy exists within the known realms, has always existed, always been there, only transmutation and change are possible when receiving healing from within naturally. That being said, if you call a modality into you, if I call Assalamu Alaikum, or if I call Holy Krishna, or if I call Archangel Michael or Archangel Raphael into my life, no matter the weather, to do what needs to be done in full love and light, then I'm telling you right now, those beings will work through me in such a way, but I guarantee you it won't be new energy. This inward healing may then be directed energetically to help entrain or transmute the energies of lower frequencies and cause them to want to seek balance within love. That's all an attunement is a way for you to raise your vibration in full love and light. And that's all it ever should be. But what is love? Unconditional and abiding, nurturing and fertile, ready for the quiet and the storm. Love is prepared for any obstacle or shortcoming to transmute oppressive energies and offer eternal release in full harmony with one's natural state of being. By the way, if you have any questions on choosing a healing modality, this is a great time. It's a great time to start asking those questions. Let me get some in the comments box and I will totally reply. When a baby needs love, they cry. When an adult needs love, they may communicate it in many different ways. However, this communication may prove to be haphazard or less than positive. The goal here is completely to resonate within love. So why the desire or need for love in any other way other than seeking and simply asking for it and receiving? Well, there's fear. The opposing vibration to love in its purest form. That is to say, when we're not resonating in full love, we are choosing to allow for a side of fear to inhabit what would naturally be positive and natural, uplifting state of being. This causes miscommunication in most cases, whether it be through actions or even through thoughts. So how does one manage their fears and learn to resonate with love? It's simple, really. But for the sakes of developing yourself as a healer, I'm going to cover it in two different ways. You get two for the price of one. Love for yourself and love for others. Many see the healing light as some mystic force that permeates the chakras and restores balance where there is perceived energy or spirit transmuting love into fear. The true key beyond that of any technique I could place within this text, within the manual, is allowing for that love to be used and known to exist within a person, place, or object, to once again flourish and grow in the same love that cultured its initial existence, the same love that made you, can be your brother, your sister, your friend, your aunt, your uncle, anybody. Wouldn't this love be for the same for everyone? Not quite. And let me explain. While love resonates at a perfect vibration, perfect and unconditional love, we are combinations of both love, which will represent full divine feminine, and perfect trust, which is born of love that is represented by the full divine masculine. As beings of both, we are rather unique from that which would simply be with love. This is different. Very different. Now, most people would disagree with me and say, oh, hey, what's this trust you're speaking of? Aren't we all beings of love? Aren't we all just beings of love and light? I'm so confused. As a light worker, I'm confused. As a Christian, I'm confused. As any form of spiritual, religious, whatever have you being, you may be confused by that statement. Perfect love and perfect trust. Now my pagans, my witches, my wizards, excuse my verbiage, they may know what I'm talking about here. But the difference, coupled with life experiences, with energies of all types, is what I feel inherently creates a natural imbalance within us to allow for other forms of energy to be known, observed, and understood on the physical, mental, and energetic levels respectively. I use these terms most specifically due to their overall nature regarding most states of being. The semantics that follow most ideals regarding this matter don't quite scratch what is an immeasurable surface. That being said, it would be very hard-pressed for me to say that we're a divine masculine fear. That's not possible. Fear is a result of our logic, which is relevant to the amount of trust we may have in a given person, place, or object. It is this and this alone which leads me to use other terms to define these energies as naturally as possible while respecting the traditions and beliefs of others. So, how does one receive love for themselves? It's simple, really. Be a balance of love and allow for that frame of being to resonate at all and any values necessary to recreate balance within self on all levels. The same can be said of how to give love to others. The same can be said of how to give love to others. Think about that for a second. As you go along your day, as you go listen to this podcast in your car, as you listen to this podcast from your computer, your phone, whatever have you, think about others. Think about the children. But seriously, reflect. Because it's a matter of that love, of that trust, and resonation with both in perfect harmony that can create your love for others. That can create your trust for others. And in the same respect, in the same regard, can reconstruct, build, or even sometimes block love from others. Or for others. Depends on your perspective, really. In any case, I'm going to take a few moments here to meditate. And I'm going to put some music on in the background, just to let you guys vibe with it. And we're going to sit in Reiki for the end of this show. I want everyone to really just think about what I said. And that's all. If you have any comments that pop up in your head, feel free to leave those in the little box. And we're going to go from here. Now, I want you all to take a few deep breaths. Let your day completely wash away. Completely wash away. And just be. Jokure seiki oncha se shonen dai komyo jokure seiki Onsha se shonen dai komyo chokure sei heiki. Onsha se shonen dai komyo. Thank you. And thank you for joining me on my healing journey. I pray you all enjoyed this broadcast. And if you did, please subscribe. Let me know. I'm going to be more than happy to answer any questions that may have popped up in the comments. Other than that, have a great day. Love and light.